amazing. Do you understand what just happened there, New York Rick?
Yeah, you really went to the song real quickly.
You just referenced one of the most famous walkouts, and I have a feeling you don't know that that's his walkout.
I have no idea.
Iconic walkout.
I was like, what is going on here? Anyways, you got Dricus du Plessis against Darren Till. You've got Paddy Pimblett returning against Jared Gordon. And, of course, the big one, the highly anticipated vacant light heavyweight title fight between Magomed Ankalaev and Jan Blachowicz. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code The MMA Hour. Bet $5 pre-fight money line on any fighter to win and get $150 in free bets if they do. Again, that's code The MMA Hour this Saturday at DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the UFC. Also, we are presented by our good friends over at Whoop. W-H-O-O-P. Yes, Whoop. Ooh, nice little snazzy lower third there. Who came up with that?
I think you did.
Today's episode is brought to you by Whoop, the 24/7 personalized fitness and health coach. Whoop is a sleek, screenless fitness wearable that tracks your sleep and daily activity. By the way, why music for DraftKings but not for Whoop?
Let's talk off air about that.
Creating a detailed breakdown of what is going on with your fitness and health. A lot of pro fighters are using Whoop to track their workouts. I've been using one. GC been using one as well. How's your journey with Whoop going, GC?
I mean, I'm actually loving it, though. Lately, especially with these late UFC nights, it reminds me a lot that I'm not getting enough sleep.
So what does it do when it tells you you're not getting enough sleep?
It wakes
Yo,
you up.
you tired? Like, you should probably head to bed. That's what it said to me.
Serious?
Yeah, as we're on the first fight
On
of
the prelims?
card. Yeah, I was like, ain't happening, Whoop. Sorry, but it is a nice reminder, and it's cool when you're working out. It lets you know how much you're working. I mean, I actually do like it.
It's an amazing thing. You get the app, right? It gives you a whole breakdown. Quite frankly, don't even really understand how they figure all this out, but they do. It gives you extra data on your health, your recovery, and your
It knows
sleep.
exactly when I go to sleep. I don't have
wild.
to do anything.
How does it know?
I guess it's all by the pulse. There's a sensor on your pulse.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, you can try Whoop for yourself by going to whoop.com. That's WHOOP.com. Whoop.com. And here's a very important note. Use the code MMA, not MMA Hour, just MMA, 3 letters, to save 10% today. You want to feel better? You want to have a better life, a healthier life? Go to whoop.com, put in the code MMA, save 10%. Tell them we sent you, support them, because they support us. All right. How'd we do this weekend? Apologies. We know how we did. The trio that is the Parlay Pals.
I mean, easy dub. Easy dub.
How did you do? Did you get back on track?
Well, actually, I got off track. I had 4 straight winning weeks. I was hot. Yeah, we went right off track. Let's dive right in. Let's get through it. Went with 10 singles. Not a great start to the night. I mean, look at that. I start with Rainier Ritter. You want to talk about one-way
Jesus.
traffic? You want to talk about one-way traffic?
Holy smokes.
I mean, he got dominated in that fight. It was took 30 seconds after 3 failed takedowns. I was like, this ain't happening.
Yeah.
We do bounce back. We get 2 singles, but still not good on the singles for the night. Do okay on the parlays. 3-1 on the parlays. Obviously, the MMA Hour parlay hitting, and that gets us to the final. I lost almost 5 units, 4.5. One of our worst weeks, but bound to happen. Can't stay hot forever. You knew it was going to come. It did feel like one of those deserts for a while, though. I mean, I started 0-5 on singles. It was not looking good, but we finished okay. Minus 4.47, up 60 on the year still, up 72 all time. So yeah, I still feel pretty decent. Well, shout out to DraftKings, Anderson Bren. This is actually the second time that he has won it. And then, I mean, I might have lost, dude, but these big hitters never cease to amaze me. Let's give some shout outs to some
What
people.
do we got? Oh, yeah. By the way, you had to have a down week after the big donation, right?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Oh, I said you had to have a down week after the big donation.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't lie. I'm pretty superstitious. I was gonna let the mustache keep going if I just kept winning. So I'm glad to be able to grow
What's
the
the
beard.
plan now?
Oh, beard's coming back.
You're not going to trim the mustache?
Nope. We'll
All
let
right.
the beard catch up to
But
it.
it looked so fitting.
How long do you think that'll take?
Couple weeks. By the award show, I'll be looking like Brad Pitt again.
When's that?
That'd be January.
January 4th.
Not the first Monday of the year, the first Wednesday. of the
yes,
year.
because the first Monday is a holiday.
Yep. And
Even
we
though
won't
it's
be with
January
you.
2nd.
All right.
All right, go ahead.
Anton the Goat. Yeah, quick plus 73,494 9-leg parlay. I mean, he pretty much called every fight right. Threw some dogs in there. Had Roman Dolidze, had Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, had Eric Anders. I mean, had Angela Hill, had Clay Guida. That's going to give him a huge parlay. $2 into almost 1,500. I mean, shout out to Anton. Unbelievable call here. Fantastic stuff. Next up, cheese staked. Another small stake one, but still just a huge win. Plus 44,478. He also had a lot of dogs. Michael Johnson, Clay Guida, Angela Hill, Phil Rowe, Anders, Dolidze. It's almost all dogs.
Wow.
Then he threw a Jonathan Pierce almost minus 600 in, because why not? Just alley-oop that in. Next up, the Dan man, Seraldo Babalu. Hell of a name. Plus 16,000 on just 2 picks. Rafael Dos Anjos in round 2. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson in round 4. So plus 600 on the RDA. Plus 2,200 on the Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Parlayed him up. Turned 75 cents into 120. I mean, just,
Damn.
some of these calls. Some of these calls these people make are just unreal. Like they got time machines. I don't know what it is. Beezy dripping. Shout out to Bees. He goes. He goes 5 legs. Hermanson to lead say under 2.5. Also, the Hermanson finish, like the way that he got finished.
Oh my God.
Like you could not get out of that. I was like, my mind was like warped, like making sense of like how his leg was. I was like, oh, he like literally can't get out of this. This fight is over. I've never seen that before.
It's one of the greatest and most unique finishes I've ever seen. Like it was like
Yeah.
a calf slicer where he trapped his legs. Hermanson could not get out. I mean, he was like,
Oh, he was done.
it was crazy, and then just ran. That dude. And then, by the way, calling out Hamzat afterwards.
Dude, he is scary. He is violent.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a madman. He is on everybody's radar now. Yeah, he hits under 2.5 in the Chanel Nicolau fight. Shout out to that flyweight unders that never miss. Stephen Thompson is an underdog. Clay Guida is an underdog, and Michael Johnson is an underdog. Plus $10,005 into 510. Beautiful play. Next up, the Rocket plays. He goes Phil Rowe by KO, Roman Dolidze by KO, RDA by submission, plus 10,050 to win $5,056.
Damn.
Whew. So RDA would be going last in that. When he locked up the choke, when it looked like he was going to get the triangle in the first round, I think it was, and it failed, and then he got the choke in the second. I mean, you'd see me doing laps around my apartment. I'd be going so crazy. That would be fantastic. This one is not a bet. This one is just insanely impressive by Art Smith. Verdict. Shout out to Verdict MMA. His picks for the entire main card, he goes 6 for 6, and he not only goes 6 for 6, he also gets the method of finish correct on all of them, either submission or knockout. And on 5 of the 6, he also gets the round correct too. He almost got it 100% perfect. He said the lead say in the third instead of the second. I mean, shout out to Art Smith. Unbelievable. And last, Anthony Choppio. He was really looking for this shout out. The ticket is worth it. He does do some unit shaming, don't love that on some other submissions, but still, fantastic ticket for him. Plus 11,241. Turns $45 into over $5,000. Like I said, if I ever hit one of these, I'd be going crazy. I don't even bet him because I know I'm not going to hit him. But shout out to him. Shout out to all of them. Unbelievable winners from them. I didn't have a great week, but they certainly did.
Yes. And a couple other shout outs, if we can. Shout out to Scott Holtzman,
Nice.
who retired. It's kind of bummed, they stack these cards and no one gets to go on the mic. I mean, I know a lot of them went the distance.
They did
but
Guida dirty.
man, a lot of those dudes, like they had some good performances, and you could tell he was taking off the gloves and they even cut off that. Like they had to keep.
Guida was doing like a shout out for like hurricane relief in his hometown, and they like, Dan. It was like Angela Hill. Yeah, they cut him off. Couldn't believe it.
And it's not because I get it. They're not trying to be dicks, but they had what was it, 15 or was it 14 once Cortez and yeah, and they pack it in. and it's on TV, and you got to get the commercials in. And also, they did do a great thing, highlighting a lot of the, the cancer stories and the V Foundation and the Stuart Scott night. So there was just a lot of elements on that show. And
Cormier's tribute to Rumble.
Cormier's tribute to Rumble, having Elias Theodore's parents there was a really nice thing. So, but you feel bad for a guy like Holtzman who's retiring, who I think is actually expecting his second child today. Amazingly, not getting any type of mic time.
He did see the media after. That was,
Yeah.
where you would hear from him. But yes, obviously would have been nice to have him have that moment in the octagon, for sure.
Shout out to Nathan Diaz, who got the key to the city on Saturday at the Stockton Kings game, G League affiliate. Big moment for him. The mayor handing him the key to the city. I thought that was very nice. Nice little whoops. Sorry about that, Frank. Nice little moment. Phil Rowe had a great moment as well. There were a lot of great moments on Saturday, right? On the microphone, talking about his mother. Just a good card. I mean, it went till 1:30 a.m.
It did go incredibly late. I actually, speaking of Stockton, I got a call from a random number in Stockton a few days ago. And I did, for 1 second.
209. Did you pick it up?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, it was actually Movember.
Oh wow.
Being like, thanks for all the hard work.
You're kidding. They personally called you? No way.
Yeah, I'm serious. That's it.
What?
Yeah.
And they're based in Stockton?
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Gotta
weird.
do Diaz X Movember crossover.
Pretty heavy it was Diaz, I'm not gonna lie.
And hey, fully admit that I'm a little biased here, but shout out to Israel's Natan Levy, not only for the performance, but the stuff that he said afterwards. I mean, the venom, the vitriol that you receive is pretty disgusting. I don't want to give any of that too much shine, but I can't even imagine what his DMs are like. And we posted the clip. Shout out to Jose Youngs for asking him about the Kanye West stuff. Just a weird world that we're living in, and weird even to the point where I feel, if I'm being honest, not trying to make myself into some sort of like martyr here or something, or victim, but like I bet you if I had him on the show, like all you would see in the YouTube chat were just like people who have no idea what they're talking about, what they're supposedly mad at or whatever. But shout out to Natan Levy, who is doing great things and had I thought his best performance in the UFC so far.
He looked great.
Yeah, the kicks were amazing. Sweet chin music.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna get the finish in the first round.
Yeah, so did I. And do you guys think that we covered everything with the Kraus story? Do you feel like we got to everything?
Nothing that I want to get to. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's.
I think that was as thorough as it gets, no?
Yeah, no. I just didn't know.
And now we wait.
For the next.
That's the crazy
drop.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we wait.
Yeah, it's a crazy story. Well, by the way, can I ask you a question, New York Rick? While we're breaking, why is Michael Bisping so mad?
Oh God, we're not getting.
What?
We're not doing this. What is this?
I don't know.
Not doing it.
Okay, what? We're not talking. Why is he so mad? I actually think he's very much in the wrong.
Of course, he's in the wrong.
DC does this too. He says something on the broadcast. He's like, I mean, but like, first of all, guys, you're on air for 8 hours. So yes, does a line get taken out? But you said what you said.
Related to nothing. Related to not any question you asked me. Clickbait. Clickbait
Is the most misused term
is not
in the
used
history.
correctly by anybody.
Yes.
Stop using it.
Oh, it's the most. That's actually, I've talked about this on the show. It's one of my big pet peeves. Clickbait is, the true definition of clickbait is, you'll never guess what Kim Kardashian wore today. Like, that's clickbait, right? Or you'll never guess who.
Clickbait is enticing somebody to click on something,
Yes.
and then bait and switching. Once you get to it, it is not
Yeah.
actually what you have been promised or what's implied to happen, and then you're disappointed and you leave and you got tricked.
Yeah, it's the ads on Twitter as you're scrolling.
Yes.
Like these 18 photos, they had no idea until they looked back.
Right.
Because all they care about is once you click, right? That's it. If you're in, they don't care if you're happy, disappointed, whatever. Thus, click bait, right? They're baiting you to click the article you've clicked, and now they've got you, and they don't really care. All they wanted was the click. Being quoted and then not standing behind your quote is not clickbait.
No.
But this is independent of any conversation we're having, and I just wanted to point that out.
Sure, fine. By the way, do you remember that Twitter account saved you a click? That was once a big one.
And there was that one where they would just expose what the
Yeah.
articles were. They tell you. A great one from back then was also, let me Google that for you. When
Oh, I didn't know
people
that
would
one.
ask-
Yeah.
People would ask the dumbest questions like, what time? I'm sure you get tweets, right? What time are the fights
Oh,
starting
it's
this,
the worst.
this weekend? Hey, buddy, like
Yeah.
hop on the Google
Oh,
and
that's the
figure it
worst.
out.
There used to be a
You're
thing that
okay.
would create a GIF for you, and it would like be a GIF of you Googling the
Yeah,
question
that's
that they
the.
had.
Let me Google that for you.
Yeah, that's let me.
Oh, that
Google
is.
for you.
Uh, Room Raider is a fun one. What was that, Frank?
I had a question when you guys are done with that.
Please. Is it about?
Back to the whole betting thing that's going on.
Oh yeah, please.
I was
Oh,
just
so we're trying
wondering,
to
with,
vote on
with
that.
the power of hindsight, do you guys have any idea what caused that October 17th movement from UFC? Like why they decided to
You mean statement?
statement? But
No.
also like that was when they told people like fighters couldn't bet anymore, that
Yeah.
sort of thing. So no idea. It's all up
Right
in the air.
now, I don't know what the catalyst was because I think some people, maybe in retrospect, think that statement came after the Derek Minner fight. No, that statement came before the Minner
Right.
fight. However, as we noted, the podcast, the Discord, and perhaps other things going on, TBD, may have alerted other people, third-party people, who knows, to put that out. And so, and by the way, as I noted on Twitter, I believe that, again, not that statement is related to the Minner fight, but I believe that statement, a precursor to them perhaps knowing that things were happening. And I believe that the statement regarding James Krause on Friday, somewhat of a precursor to other things coming down, right?
Interesting.
And I think that the Krause thing is very much like, look, we are cutting this guy off. He is no longer affiliate. And by the way, Krause was a very liked guy within the UFC headquarters, right? Even to, did he? No, I don't think he ever worked as an analyst, but I remember them using him for one of those like video breakdown things. I've seen Saif Saud do it. And then, as I said, he was on the ESPN show as well for a little bit. So it's not like he's a guy that they wanted to get rid of.
Yeah, but essentially it would be speculation to say at the moment why that statement was made.
No, don't know.
But
Yeah.
if you read the tea leaves, the timing is conspicuous, right? Like there's something that happened that caused that.
I'm just wondering, like, how big does this story get?
I think it will be the biggest story
This could go down. What do you mean, like the biggest story ever?
in MMA. Yeah, I mean
Bigger than the TRT stuff?
there are important organizations, government regulated bodies, saying that they don't know that the UFC can control fight fixing. Now, is it every organization? No. But that's significant. That is extremely significant. So yeah, this is going to be huge. And like, I think what's confusing for a lot of people, and myself included, you can kind of get lost in the sauce a little bit. There's the James Krause part of it. There's the James Krause and that specific Derek Minner fight part of it. There's the larger picture. These things are all intertwined, but they're not the same. It is not all the same story. There are lots of different tentacles to this octopus. Like there is a lot happening here. I think it's very easy for a lot of people to conceptualize and kind of talk about James Krause as the entirety of the story, or simplify it that way. But that is not what's happening here. That is one aspect of a much, 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 much larger thing.
Oh, yeah. This will not just be a James Krause story. It may have,
It will start
yeah.
that way, and then it will become something completely different.
And who knows what's already taking place behind the scenes that we don't know.
Yep. 100%. Good point.
Telling,
I've actually reached out to James Krause, but no response. And
as expected.
wasn't expecting one. Yeah. I'm wondering, like, he hasn't tweeted anything in a long time. Who knows?
I would assume that the best course of action is to keep the head down as far as possible.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess if he has any sort of legal team there, probably advising him to keep quiet.
Yes. Actually, I do know that he hired someone in Las Vegas. Representation. Is representation the right word? No, it's not the right word.
Yeah, legal representation.
Yeah. All right. You do wonder, and I guess we'll find out soon. Marcelo Rojo was allowed, obviously. And by the way, you do wonder when, like, the UFC didn't make this decision on Friday to cut him off. I think that was a timing thing, Friday news dump. But you wonder the other fighters who are part of that gym, what do they do now? Where do they go from here?
There's that, but there's also the investigation, right? The reaction from the UFC was pending their investigation, so obviously the timing of that, those two things are intertwined, right? They needed to thoroughly, to their satisfaction, see through this investigation, and at the result of it, this is what they ultimately came up with. It's going to be interesting, yeah. If you're, I mean, the most notable, the highest profile is going to be Brandon Moreno, right? Like that is going to be the most interesting fallout from this. Is what does Brandon Moreno do? The UFC has made it very clear that there's an ultimatum here. You cannot participate in our events if you are associated with James Krause. So we will see.
Where does he train? Who does he train with, right? Like, you know, are the other coaches that were a part of that gym?
Or does he make a stand? Does he not choose to train somewhere else? Does he
then
say
he's
operating in solidarity? Who knows?
That would be
No,
insane.
then he's not getting it. Then he's out of the UFC.
I'm not
Instagram,
suggesting
waiting for
he do
justice.
it. I am just throwing out there that
Sure.
this is a
But for this to
potential
be-
future.
What, 7 weeks before
Yeah,
flyweight champion?
21st January. Yeah. Whew. See you guys in Vegas for the awards.
Yeah,
I'll be there.
appreciate the invite.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Breaking news.
Oh, I think I said this last week, did I not?
I think you were a little more
Oh yeah.
wishy-washy.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we'll be there. First time since 2017.
Wow.
Are you allowed?
No.
Or is that an old storyline? I don't even remember.
Wait, and by the way, you need to be clear here because people are going to think that I'm not allowed at the awards. You mean in Las Vegas,
I
right?
was going to say, you're just
Yeah.
not allowed in the entire city.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you've been
I've been to Las
I
Vegas.
heard on the
You were there. You were there like a
In
week
July.
after that.
I saw on Reddit
Yeah.
you're not allowed in the entire,
In the
city
entire
limits of
jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Las Vegas.
I think it was old. I shouldn't have.
Yeah. Speaking of rehashing things, I had to write the mayor of Las Vegas get a special pardon.
Maybe you get to the.
I was going to say, any keys to the city coming soon for you?
That'd be nice. What a turn of events that would be.
vis-a-vis,
From band to key to the city.
Stockton?
That would be nice. You know, who knows? A little watch party on Friday for Bellator.
Yep.
No, me.
Yeah.
I'm doing. Oh, you're saying yep like you're going to be there. What?
You want to make sure not invited. I got it.
Connor gets messages on these invites from somebody. Who knows who's
Yeah.
giving it to him? But somebody's telling him. All
Where
these
you doing
things
it?
ahead of time?
Still TBD. But it's interesting. Both of you were talking about going. Neither of you going.
That's why you were selling it so hard on the card.
I'm into that fight. But no, come on. 282 is 1,000
Gonna
times
say,
better.
Difference.
But that fight is juicy.
That's not. I mean,
Yeah, the fight
Those
is-
are not apples to oranges. That's a great. It's a good card.
Yeah.
UFC pay-per-view versus
Right.
regular Showtime event. That's not.
I mean, that is the. I mean, there. I guess the CBS is the one, but
CBS would be-
But there's nothing bigger than a regular Showtime event.
The CBS card.
Yeah, this first time in their history,
I mean,
over 10 years.
They also did an ill-fated pay-per-view. No, didn't
Right. Yes.
they do a pay-per-view?
That was in the Bjorn days, yeah. And of course, who could forget the CBS Sportsnet era, the Paramount era, the MTV2 era.
Oh, wow.
Do you know Bellator
MTV2?
MTV2? Yeah.
Wasn't Anik the?
Who could forget the John Anik era? Did you know this, GC?
John and TV2 Bellator. I mean, this is like, I need footage of this. This is
blowing his mind.
incredible.
John Anik was the first ever play-by-play man for Bellator.
I was just about to say that CBS Sports Network, if I watch like a basketball game or a football game on that, it just feels small.
Oh, yeah.
It feels like what I'm
Ticker
watching
and everything.
has no consequences.
ESPN News, right?
Yeah. MTV2, they can't even get slated on MTV1.
Let me blow your mind even more. John Anik wasn't part of the. Now it's all coming back to me. He wasn't part of the MTV2 era. John Anik was the play-by-play man for the first season of Bellator, which was on ESPN Deportes, and it was like the lone English programming on ESPN Deportes. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
They put it on ESPN Deportes. This
Yeah.
English program.
Yes.
So they would have somewhere to have it.
There was an era
ESPN
where
Classic
they did
wasn't
that.
open. ESPN
It
News.
was weird. By the way, is ESPN News still around, or did they finally shut it down?
I would hope it's shut down.
I like
Radio
ESPN News.
Wait, did you say you or news?
News.
No, I think that's still around. No, did I make that up? Yeah, that's.
No, I think ESPN.
I think they're shutting it down.
Yeah. Oh, really? I loved ESPN News.
It was great.
Maybe second hour of Mike and Mike. I forget which one.
No, I'm talking like early days ESPN News when it was really just like the news show.
Yeah,
Not when they
Now
started
they
to
just
put like simulcasts and stuff on.
just
Oh,
dump
that's
other.
messed up.
Oh, that was fun. Stephen A would just pop up on there. Like before he was Stephen A, he was just like an insider.
Yeah, you could
I
watch
mean, that's where some of his best stuff came from.
Yeah.
watch 8 hours of Sports Center and then
Yeah. Who was it? The Medvedenko one?
Slava Medvedenko.
Yeah.
Slava
Yes.
Medvedenko.
Yes, that was a classic.
Yeah.
I learned about the Knicks acquiring Latrell Sprewell from Golden State in 1999 while watching ESPN News.
Nice. Yeah.
It was ESPN News and CNN SI. Do you remember that?
We used to get news
Oh, yeah.
from our television.
Oh, it was amazing.
Wild, right?
Those were great days.
Yeah, it is.
I remember one time, 1995, I'm at an Expos game, and we didn't get the Knicks Pacers Game 5 of the second round of the NBA playoffs that year. Didn't get it on TV in Montreal. So I went to the Expos game, had to wait until I got home, had to wait until CNNSI played the highlights for me to find out if they won. Do you imagine that?
Yeah.
Not in real time. I had to wait a legit hour or so after the game was over just to find out if they won.
Would you go back right now if you could?
To those days? To me being a kid, or to the days where like we didn't have
I'm not asking if you want to be youthful again. I'm asking if consuming news in the way that we do has rotted something inside of us.
Yeah.
And maybe those simpler times were better.
What do you think?
Definitely rotted something. So.
This is,
Picking
by
up
the
the
way,
paper to
before
find
you
the
answer
movie
this
thing.
question, it's a big statement right here from the social media
this
guru.
is how I make my
Yes,
living.
yes.
Well, you think on that. I'm like on my like 6th MTV2 Bellator promo.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, they're great.
No,
a great night of fights, says Bloody Elbow.
There you go.
Yeah, great promo.
I think getting news in real time is
It's pretty awesome, but it
it's
has.
pretty great.
There was something very innocent about waiting for the highlight show
But
to
this is-
start.
This is like the mindset of like the promotion, UFC wanting to hold on to a promo and not reveal the news, and
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's that kind of mentality. Like I don't care about spoilers. Like I want the news when the news happens. So I would stay here in 2022 and get news that way.
One thing that I did like was like getting to break news to like your friend. Like if you saw something on
Yeah.
SportsCenter and like say you
yeah.
go to the bus and you're like, did you see XYZ got traded? And they're like, oh my God, no. Now it's just like, did you see blah, blah, blah? Yeah, I saw it.
I don't
saw
even-
it, dude. It's been on Twitter for 10 minutes.
My text skip the did you see? You just start talking about it.
Yeah.
Like you already just like jump to it because you assume everybody saw it.
Oh yeah, everybody's seen it.
You ever get one of those things where everyone's talking about it, but you didn't, so you just quickly search and then you jump in, but don't tell them that you missed it? Do that all the time.
Rare. I
time.
don't.
Could you
No, I
believe
kinda
Donovan
like being
Mitchell?
surprised, yeah.
Brrr, Donovan, and then go back. Oh, I can't believe that.
I was already crying by that point.
Didn't
I was
the
already
Knicks
crying
beat-
tears of-
Yeah, what happened next? Kevin?
Oh yes, celebrate this one. Raise
I mean, it's a bit.
you raising a banner.
No
in the
banner. I'm just
rafters?
saying. You mentioned when Knicks lost to them.
We're
let's
worried
do a
about
banner.
the
Let's do a
120
banner.
million you're
Get the
paying
one on the
RJ
call.
Barrett, who's an absolute
I'm
trash
saying.
can. Like, we're
wow, why are you getting so personal?
Rick's getting nervous. He
Yeah.
hears footsteps coming from the 4th place Hawks right on his heels.
we just dusted them.
Isn't there like some sort of beef right now between Trae Young and McMillan?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right.
He's not even
You don't
following
even
the
follow.
season.
Not me.
He didn't
I
show
got
up to
other
the
things
game.
do.
Yeah, like
Got
what?
Bellator 289 to watch. Thanks. One championship deep into the night.
You enjoy that regular season December win.
I will. They had lost 5 straight at home.
Enjoy it.
I actually will. Well, it's been a great day, my friends. Frank, any final thoughts?
Yeah, earlier you mentioned Bellator pay-per-view that didn't do so hot.
Oh yeah,
Is there any news about how PFL ended up doing with that pay-per-view?
Frank,
I
you're
gotta say that was a great
By the way,
question.
you're asking-
I've been trying to get it in. but
Frank,
you
you're
guys-
asking legitimate questions
Frank,
here.
we just
That,
saw a little
Positive,
mini
and-
on the nose on Mondays. I love it.
no word, but no one feels very confident that it did great. Again, what they were telling me inside the walls was, hey, this is all gravy. We were going to be on ESPN anyway, so whatever we make, we make. But
It still
Haven't heard it.
matters. Yeah.
Now I see. I mean, that's a terrible mentality. Now
I
see
agree.
where it went wrong.
because also, who knows how that deal was constructed, right? Maybe they didn't pay them for the last show, and so they had to try to make that back. You know, you get paid X amount for, however, I don't know, 13
Yeah.
events, 12 events. Maybe they say, oh, we're not going to pay you for the last one. Okay, we're going to make that money tenfold via pay-per-view, and then...
Yeah.
By the way, did you watch Fury Chisora?
I did. Yeah.
So bad, right?
I mean, it was fine. I don't need.
Just a wallop.
I don't need Tyson Fury fights based on him picking dates in the calendar and wanting to fight. Like, I only want to see Tyson Fury fight the fighters we want to see him fight. I only want to see the Usyk fight, you know, like, and even a Joshua fight. Those are what I want. I don't really need these
Felt
other
like
fights.
nothing. Felt like nothing. I only tuned in for the Fury fight, and
It's a cool scene.
it was a cool scene, but it was just so one-sided
To
the
his
entire
point,
time.
to what he said to you, to what he said to True Jordy, and everybody else who's asking about it, when you're selling out stadiums, we
I
all
watched
got to
it.
shut up.
Yeah,
Yeah, but pay-per-view, man. Pay-per-view.
I get it.
That was on
Like,
BT Sport box office.
That
And
many
ESPN
people
Plus.
are packed into an arena to watch you against anybody, literally anybody. I
No,
find it hard.
100%.
You gotta shut up at a certain point and let the man do his thing. But personally, zero interest in that fight. Never like what was.
You think he fights Usyk next?
I hope.
Oh, after that whole big to-do with the face-off, they don't do
Tyson
it.
Fury
Yeah,
will,
like you have.
he will pick when he's going to fight. He will pick a date. He will have his heart set on it. And if Usyk can make that date, he will fight. And if Usyk can't make that date, it will be somebody else. And we'll get another Tyson Fury.
And they also went to Usyk in the crowd like 9 times.
Oh, yeah.
Pre-fight, as it's about to start, and then like it felt like in between each round, it was like. let's
Imagine
go.
it was like that in the UFC. Like Izzy was like, "I'm fighting on November 12th. If you're ready, you're ready." You know,
I mean, there is some of that. We you know,
To a
there's some
degree.
fighters who do that.
few, but yes.
I mean, we just saw Gilbert Burns. Like, I want to fight in Brazil. Give me anybody on the roster.
Yeah.
I will fight them in Brazil, and he got it done, and now he is going to.
Why does it feel like that Brazil card is coming up next week and there's
Yeah.
still so many questions regarding it?
Well, it's like 7 minutes away.
But when you're the best heavyweight in the world and possibly one of the best heavyweights of all time, I don't even think is that even arguable. Like, he is one of the best heavyweights of all time. I don't need to see this third fight. Like, let's do the Usyk fight. Let's even Joshua. Like, I know
Please.
not his stock is not super high.
I would much rather, yeah. I will. It was uncomfortable to watch. Better chance of happening: Usyk, Fury, RDA, McGregor.
Usyk Fury, no doubt.
Better chance of happening: RDA, McGregor, or Paddy Pimblett, Jake Paul.
Okay. RDA McGregor. Paddy Pimblett, Jake Paul, in what arena?
I don't know. I see them all over MMA Fighting Social.
Okay, are you
Playing-
including- are you-
even? I love how he says even playing field. Did he not? Yeah,
Are you considering if they do this long discussed and ultimately will never happen, but maybe might happen, sparring session fight, or do you mean a actual sanctioned fight?
no, the former.
0%.
Yes.
We'll get our.
I like how Patty said. I will.
Talk about picking dates. They both
Even-
did that. They both
even
did
playing
that
field.
Tyson Fury thing. They both did. I can fight now. I can fight now. We're never gonna do it. Yay! Like they did. They did literally what we were just talking about.
But didn't he say even playing field? Like, let's see if he fights someone on even playing field. Paddy Pimblett is a, what is he, like 35 to 40 pound lighter man than him?
Yeah, but that's in Patty's head. The ego is putting him up there as you know, he's that big in his mind, and good for him.
Yeah. By the way, what about this clip right here before we say goodbye? Here's a clip. Oh, why can I not find this now? Jesus. How did I miss this? Where in the... Oh, here it is. Here's a clip from 2015, GC, all right? You were what, 4th grade?
Yeah.
What is happening right now?
Here's a clip from 2004. Oh, jeez. Paddy Pimblett in studio, 2015, I believe,
Wow.
October.
Said even though you haven't fought in the UFC, that people know you in the gym, they recognize you.
Americans don't,
They
to be
don't,
honest.
yeah.
No, Americans.
You only get love on this show, huh? Only the Americans have jumped on the bandwagon, right? I feel like they're late on this one.
7 years ago. What was that? What was that closing line? You only get love on this show?
Fought in the UFC, that people know you in the gym, they recognize you.
Americans don't,
They
to be
don't,
honest.
yeah.
No, Americans.
You only get love on this show, huh?
I only get love on this show. 7 years.
Simpler time.
Simpler times. 7 years. Not, I mean, I'm not salty about it. Just like,
Not at all.
7 years. Oh, someone's calling me. That's awkward.
Wait, you know the rules? Did they call you during the show?
Yeah, this is a 607 number.
Yeah.
Ithaca, New York.
Gotta roll the dice.
Should I pick it up? This is 100% spam. Or, actually, I was going to say something, but I don't want to say it. All right, Frank, we're out of time. Great stuff, guys. Seriously. GC, tremendous. New York Rick, tremendous. And Frank, for the follow-up questions, tremendous. Also,
that's it. That's the only thing I get.
yeah, also, tremendous job by my flannel hoodie.
You know, okay, like a boxer robe hoodie.
Yeah, that's what
There
this
we
is.
go. Okay.
Dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. You know who walks out to that song?
Patty.
Oh, there you go. What about Free From Desire?
Wait, do you know who
Na, 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 na.
wrote that song?
Yeah, you told me last time.
Tiesto.
Tiesto. Tiesta or Tiesto?
Tiesto.
Where are they from?
The Netherlands?
Oh. You mean the same country that beat the U.S.?
That would be the one.
Were
Poor
you-
timing.
Well, no,
I bet on RDR the Dutch Knight lost. I bet against Netherlands lost, and I bet on Kevin Holland.
Oh,
Back.
my
Shout out to the
God.
Netherlands, enemy number 1.
Oh, my God. That is brutal. Do I have lint in my hair? What's going on over here? Guys, very exciting. I believe we're going to have a big-time boxer in studio on Wednesday. Any guesses? Quickly. Any guesses?
Jake Paul,
No.
Toronto.
Who?
Katie Taylor,
No.
Tyson Fury.
No. All right, well, this sucks. Teofimo.
Review going on a little bit later. There's some boxing fights. Teofimo Lopez is back, but it is also a big Bellator fight week. We got a women's flyweight title fight. We've got the 135-pound Grand Prix going to take another step
Semifinals.
forward.
Yeah, we're
that's
getting
right.
closer to $1 million here, brother.
There's a lot going on. So we thought, okay, well, me and BC can just, talk about it, but that's not enough. We need some special guests to do this correctly. So joining us now in this room, you know these gentlemen from the Weighing In podcast as well as the Showtime broadcast for Bellator themselves. One of them fought in Strikeforce and was a champion. It's Josh Thompson to my left, and it's Big John McCarthy to my right. Welcome, gentlemen.
Well, thank you for having us, man.
This is a
Appreciate it.
long-awaited rematch, if I can jump in and interject.
It's a rematch. I like
of our
that.
saucy back and forth we had. But to the postscript of that was everybody caught COVID and you went to the hospital with kidney stones or whatever the hell it was.
Yes.
So hey, welcome back to Norwich, Connecticut. Here we are.
Yes,
How you guys doing?
I'm doing good. All I caught from the intro was that you called me special. I like that.
Yes.
I feel good about myself.
There's many definitions to this.
Oh, yes, there is, and he is the far end of it.
Big John, congratulations on becoming a grandfather.
Thank you very much. Yeah, my daughter, we had 4 days ago now. 4 days ago Sunday. JJ came in.
Here's the key question. I didn't mean to cut off.
that's
Describe
good.
your beautiful offspring. Congratulations. Thank you. And did you get to pick it or did they?
They got the thing. My oldest granddaughter is almost 11. And, she was the one. She got the name. She called my wife Nana. I was off.
Yeah, that's not bad. 'Cause
Okay,
there's some
yeah.
bad ones out there.
Oh, there's some really bad ones.
Paw is not bad.
Paw's not bad. I'm okay with it. And I said, oh, that's fine. I can stick with that.
In the
So,
South, they always do ones like Meemaw.
Mima.
I have a meme on people, but that's French Canadian.
That's not bad. No, that's just one.
I had never heard Mima until the show that the one with all the brainiacs on. Deliverance?
Different type of brainiac. Yeah, the CBS show. The one that's like the biggest show of all time. Anybody here? You guys are all.
Rock from the Sun?
No, you guys are all donks.
Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory.
Yes.
Sheldon, it was his Mima. That's the only time I'd ever heard
I
that.
never heard it
didn't do
until I
so.
moved to the South and I dated her. I went to her house and then she introduced me to her Meemaw. I'm like, this is a title? Like, I never heard of this before.
Speaking of Big Bang Theory, did you smash?
Will you shut the fuck up? We've been doing this for 5 minutes. You're already asking these questions? All right. We have a lot to get to. So if you're watching on YouTube, thumbs up, hit subscribe. If you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, do be so kind as to leave us a nice review. We always appreciate that when you do. As a reminder, Showtime.com is the label that pays. If you don't have Showtime and you want to watch Bellator this weekend, it's Friday as a matter of fact, you can do so. Go to Showtime.com. You can get a 30-day free trial. If you like it, you can keep it. If not, do something else with your life. As a reminder, these nice little bomber jackets,
You know, Josh,
morningcombat.store.
we could get you outfitted in one of these.
I'm waiting on you, man.
If you were willing to.
I'm definitely willing.
I'd wear a.
Definitely willing. I
Ralphie
like him.
Stotts wears his everywhere he goes.
Who does?
Ralphie Stotts.
Yeah, he also leaves his taco meat out, too. I don't do that.
Yes, he does do the taco meat bit, which is a little bit unsettling. However, he does have the coats and everything else you can get at morningcombat.store.
You strike me as someone that has kind of like the back hair and the taco meat in the front.
Oh! No, I don't have the back
You don't
hair.
have it? You don't have the back hair?
I mean, I have a little bit on like the lower back like most guys do, but
Yeah,
I don't have like the team.
You don't have the Team Wolf
No,
thing,
no.
though?
He has
But you
shitty-
have the manly chest.
I got some hair there, like right in the center.
It's called Team Animal. Don't worry about it. It's good.
But he has what he describes as shitty chest tats that he won't show.
Yeah.
Like
That's
he's
a
got
bad
tattoo
tat.
on Titi, but he's
I'm actually
hiding it.
getting this one covered up next year with a big full sleeve. I'm getting. So.
Nice.
You know, you get tattoos when you're 19. Your decision making is not so good.
No, it is not.
It's so funny because like my dad had told me, he said, "Hey, you want a tattoo? I'll pay for it. But bring me the artwork, and if a year later you still want it, I'll pay for it." A year later, I never wanted that tattoo. I was thankful I never got.
Do you have any tattoos?
None.
None? You good?
Oh, it's not.
You get the one under. This is your wedding ring, right?
I haven't done that. Yeah, that's an old. This is like, I used to wear a wedding ring, and then I got in my hand. I was chasing someone. And the ring got caught in the fence. About tore my finger off. So I said I'm not wearing it anymore. And so my wife's big thing was she said, I want you to wear your wedding ring and no tattoos. So I went and tattooed a wedding ring.
Well, I tell everyone you don't put a bumper sticker on a Bentley, so that's why I don't have it.
Oh,
Wow. See, I think that's why Robbie Lawler didn't finish his stamp track. In the back, that unfinished tattoo he has above his ass. Yeah, he's out of this week's fight. He can't find it.
Yeah, he's out of this week's way. All right,
yeah,
we have
but
a lot
he
to
can't find you because he's not fighting, so he's free.
We have a lot to get to here today. So as one last reminder, morningcombat@gmail.com. We will get to either fan subs today or Friday, depending how the timing works. And of course, today along on Friday, there's the email.
Shout out Jay Paquette.
But we are here for a very special purpose, which of course is Bellator 289 will be, where am I looking at you? Bellator 289, which will be of course on Friday. I believe the main card kicks off on Showtime at 9 p.m. in the East.
Other card at 5 p.m.
5:30. 5:30.
No, 5 p.m. Eastern for professionals.
Okay, 5 p.m. Eastern. That'll be on YouTube as well. It'll be you and Morrow on the call?
Yes.
Okay, very good. The A team there. Let's start with this main event here, Big John. Raufeon Stots taking on Danny Sabatello. Is this the, and I mean this quite genuinely, is this the most, well, let me ask you how you would describe it. How would you describe how these two have promoted this fight? It's unusual.
I'm just being honest, and I've even blamed Bellator for not holding on. Showtime, these guys have done everything you want guys to do in promoting the fight. Look at a fighter's job is to train and to get ready for the fight and go out and do that fight, but they've also got to sell the fight because they got to get the fans interested. Well, look, Danny Sabatello and Raufeon Stots have done that, and when Raufeon Stots walked in the cage after Danny Sabatello got his win against Ego, he did everything that you asked for, and Sabatello responded the right way. And it was like, this is what you're looking for. Don't let that momentum die. It died. And then those guys brought it back. They went on the MMA Hour with Ariel Helwani. They brought it back, and every time they've gotten together, they've been magical. It's funny because we actually had them on our podcast, and they didn't want to be together. It was like, I'm done being that guy. I'll do it individually. But they've been fantastic. The build up to the fight. This is one of those ones that in the end you look, let's hope the fight matches the build up.
Right. It might not though. I mean,
Thanks, Debbie.
no. Well, I'm just saying.
That shit was terrible.
You've been negative Nancy since the moment we walked in.
No.
Oh, no,
I am.
he was born. He came out that way.
Yeah, well, that's also true. However, the reason why I say that is because, listen, all road either seems to me this is a fair way to look at it. Either Stots is going to have a wrestling answer, or he's not. And if he doesn't, I don't. His chances.
Yeah, I don't look at it that way.
I don't look at it that way
Danny Sabatello's got to
either.
have a striking answer. That's what's going to win. or
Oh,
lose
there
this
you
fight.
go. See,
Right
that
now.
comes from the
agree with that.
boxing guy. Look at that.
Did I ever tell you about these?
No.
the fuck up. I'm not doing your game. I'm not doing your game. I'm old enough. All right, tell me why. Tell me what you think this fight hinges on.
Well, there is obviously some wrestling aspect to it. He's going to have to get the takedowns. But I think it's really going to hinge on, to me, the cardio, the endurance of Raufeon Stots. He has been known to slow down. He is not a high output. He is an explosive fighter. And you've noticed in the past, most explosive fighters, they tend to slow down. In a championship fight, 4 and 5 rounds is a lot. Keeping that explosiveness the whole time is where he's going to have some problems. In that 4th and 5th, if Danny could really put some pressure, really make him fight for the takedowns early in the fight, and still have the conditioning, which he's been proven to have, in the 4th and the 5th, Stott's going to have some problems. He was starting to slow down a little bit, too, in his fight with Magomed. He was conserved. I look at that fight, and Magomed's definitely better than Danny on the feet. And the wrestling aspect, I think Danny's probably got a different style of wrestling than Magomedov. But when you look at those guys, that pressure and that pace that Danny brings, and he understands what his game plan, look at him like a John Fitch, that Boilermaker Purdue wrestling. Let me grind on you. Let me get on you. And that 4th and 5th round is when they shine the most. And so I think Danny, if Stots doesn't get him out of there by rounds middle of the 3 and maybe into the 4, if Danny keeps pushing those pace, the cardio is going to be the key.
Let me push back a little bit. So in the Leandro Ego fight, Sabatello won that one, right? And he looked pretty good doing it, except
For one round.
wasn't a lot of ground and pound, a lot of control time.
Yeah.
So how would you grade the ground and pound, not just in that performance, but I guess overall of Danny Sabatello?
It was okay, but I also look at there's a difference. Rafael Stotts is good off of his back, but he's not great. Submission threats are not what there's. But I've trained and grappled with Higo. He's fantastic on the leg locks. He's fantastic on the armbar triangle game. He's very aggressive on the kimuras. He's fantastic off of his back. So there's a lot more danger involved, I think, off the back. Rafael Stotts is going to use his body to get up. He's going to use his wrestling, his jiu-jitsu, put the feet on the hips, kick you back, look to get up, make you wrestle some more. There's a difference there. And so the ground and pound, he couldn't open up as much because he goes dangerous the whole time. Arming guillotine. Sean Bunch found that out. Sean Bunch, one of my good buddies, was getting
Great freestyle wrestler.
Ego was getting his butt kicked. Jumped on the arm and guillotine, fight was over that quick. That's the kind of mistake you can't afford. With Rafael Stotts, that threat's not there, so I'm hoping to see Danny Sabatello open up a lot more with his ground and pound.
Okay, let me jump in and say some people have sort of generically compared this matchup because of the styles to the two fight series with Colby Covington and Kamaru Usman. And the key about that first fight was those were two wrestlers who just made a handshake deal silently and just said, "Hey, we're not going to shoot. We're just going to stand and bang," like Stephen Thompson and Kevin Holland. What will be that negotiation inside the cage, do you think, in this matchup when you do have two successful grapplers coming at each other? Sometimes they just go, we're not going to waste our energy there. You think
Absolutely
this will
not.
be more Storley versus Amosov, where they're both going to test each other deep in those categories?
I think you're going to end up seeing two ferrets get after it. You're going to see two little ferrets rolling around, scrambles, exchanges, all of those things. But at the end of the day, one wants to continue to be on the ground, the other one wants to be on the feet. Rafael Stotts wants to keep this on the feet because he knows his advantage on the striking is significantly more than Danny Sabatello's. Danny Sabatello understands he needs to get this fight to the ground. No matter what, he's going to have to use some big striking. This guy will shoot from 10 feet away because his double leg, his single leg, his ankle
Just gonna
picks,
say that, yes.
all of those things, he covers distance probably better than almost anyone I've ever seen in wrestling outside of Jordan Brooks. That type of wrestling is what he's got, that mentality of grind, get on you, shoot from far away, set it up with like a fake jab, a fake one punch. That's it. Stotts is fast and explosive, but in those early rounds is when Stotts has the chance to catch him coming in. But outside of that, Stotts I think will slow down as the fight goes on.
But John, what do you think this fight hinges on, aside from what we talked about? What are some other X factors to think about?
The X factor that you're looking at is how much damage does each fighter do in the given situation that they're put in. Because if you look at Danny Sabatello, his damage it is make him work. I don't have to be successful with my takedowns to make him work hard and make him work at a level that becomes uncomfortable and finally pushes him over that edge where he cannot maintain what he's doing. So Sabatello's big thing is I've got to be into him, I've got to pressure, and make him work at an uncomfortable rate. So Rafael Stotts needs to do damage. He needs to make him pay for every time that he does come into that shot. Make him pay. Do not let him exit without having something that came with it that makes him a little bit less than he was as he came in.
Let me follow up with you if I can, because obviously you're a famed referee, but you are as well a trained judge, and you've done some judging as well. You do the official, or should I say the unofficial scorecards for the Bellator broadcast. I don't know how in play it is, but for a guy like Sabatello against Ego, who did not have a ton of ground and pound, you begin to wonder which way does the round go if it's just control time. Is there enough control time, blah, blah, blah. Do you like the way the new rules are set up, where essentially on the ground, if it doesn't lead to some kind of submission attempt or heavy ground and pound, they don't really count ground control all that much?
I was part of that. I was one of them. I cannot stand someone that goes in there and tries to control another person for an amount of time and gets a win. That is not what this sport is about. This sport is about finishing people. And if you go in there, you should know I have to work towards finishing my opponent. I cannot work towards just controlling him, because if I work towards just controlling him, just holding on, being a wrestler, and it was beautiful, and my opponent just starts landing shots, the judges are going to end up giving it to my opponent, because the top criteria is striking and grappling. Which one takes place more? That's what will get the most credit. And if it's even in those, now it goes down to not control, now it goes down to aggression. And if it's even with aggression, now it goes down to control. So control, every time I listen to a broadcast and I hear something, oh, he's got great ring control. It doesn't do anything. It's not anything the judge is looking at. and it shouldn't be, because control, if we made control, which it used to be, something that was important, you start to get boring.
Well, I
fights.
want to jump in and counter you on that, because I feel like for the first time when a fan sent me sort of the letter of the law of scoring, the criteria that you're breaking down, that, you know, reading it at length, I was like, oh, wow, I was off. I was spending too much time focusing on damage when the word in the language is constantly impact. So I think when people think impact, they also think damage, blood and guts, and what you can see the damage visually. But the letter of the law also states essentially that if your impact of whatever style you're implementing is taking somebody else off of their game plan coming in or frustrating them, that obviously that'll never trump damage. But in close fights where it's not overly exciting, isn't what you're saying you shouldn't score against? Sometimes that becomes the factor that wins the round, though, right?
No, because the impact really, and I'm telling you, I'm being honest here. I put impact in, and I'm the dummy that did it, because I had regulatory people that didn't like the word damage.
Oh, so you're
Impact
saying it's actually
is damage.
Yeah. Okay.
Now it's gotten to the point where these people are on. You know, they were trying to say that, oh, you know, the sport is so young, we can't use the word damage. It looks like we're trying to hurt people. That's what we're doing.
What the fuck we're doing?
Thank you very much, Luke. Okay, that doesn't take a lot of common sense. That when every time you see impact in there, that is damage.
That's just sanitized.
That's what we're looking
It's
for.
just sanitized language for what it actually is.
That's exactly what it is.
All right.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, is that we get lost and everyone talks about damage, but we're getting lost also, too, is that the person on the bottom could be chasing submission after submission. There's not a lot of damage, but the threat of submission is really keeping you from imposing your will in what it is you were trying to do on top. And I'll give you an example. My fight with Pat Healy, he got a takedown in the first round, but I chased so many submissions that I won that round. You've got to have that type of aggression off your back. Doesn't mean that you're getting beat up all the time. Damage, impacting the fight is more of what you're trying to do, is change the dynamic of how that fight is going. Just because I'm on my back doesn't mean I'm helpless. And that's the problem, is we were getting skewed in that, oh, the guy on top is always winning.
Yeah.
You had to change that because fighters now are so well-rounded, they should be able to attack or just get back to their feet. There's so many different ways. Now getting taken down against the fence, it's pointless. I mean, like, you guys just use the wall walk. Now getting taken down in the middle of the mat is where you want to be.
Right.
So all those things now the fighters are going to have to go back to the Hoist Gracie era of chasing submissions off their back. They're going to have to learn how to do those. Sweep, submit, get up, submit, sweep, get up. Use those that type of mentality to make themselves better, to impact the judges on the fight. Those judges now, along with people at home, need to understand when they're watching that the guy who's chased 6 or 7 submissions, maybe they weren't all close, but 2 or 3 were close enough, and the guy that was on top didn't get any damage off. That guy on the bottom won the round. Not just because he was on top. We're still stuck with the fans not understanding that.
All right. Let's.
Fans are the worst.
Yeah, they are terrible. Let's talk about this here very quickly. So Stotts was initially, when this all started, something with his Bellator campaign, he was a Duke Rufus guy. Yeah. And then everything got a little bit sideways by virtue of the fact that the Sergio Pettis got the belt and then got injured, blah, blah, blah. But I guess what I'm asking you now is, Stotts had to relocate. He's in new places.
It's not. He didn't relocate because of that. He relocated because his family. He's from Houston,
Right.
So he relocated back down there to be closer to family, and he had another baby, and so he wanted to get out.
Are you sure? Because I talked to some folks at Rufus's gym. That was not their assessment of things.
No, he told me, he just told us himself on our show just the other day.
Nevertheless, it
Yeah.
is a change.
Yes.
How has it impacted him from what you can tell anyway? Is he better, worse, kind of same? Is there any noticeable difference?
We haven't seen enough of him, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah, if you're going to be honest about this and the way you're looking at it, is he better or is he worse? We saw him in that first, round of the Grand Prix where he took on Juan Archuleta. Look, Juan Archuleta was looking good in that fight. Juan Archuleta was doing well. He was doing things that we didn't expect him to be able to do against Rafael in the fashion that he was
Inflicting
doing.
damage, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you look and you go, is it because of the opponent? Or is it because of now he's training in a different place? We're going to find out with this fight right here. I really believe that, in that Rafael, in that fight with Archuleta, believed going in, he can't out-wrestle me. I don't have to work on it, and I do know where he was training at. He wasn't working on it. He was working on other things. Now, those things got him the win in the end.
A
but,
vicious win, yeah.
Yeah, but, he was pushing that wrestling to the side and let me work on the stand-up. Now he's going against somebody that he knows is going to wrestle, and he's got to have his wrestling up to par That's what he's been doing in his training, and we're going to see exactly where he's at in this fight.
All right, we're going through so many intangibles, which you do in a really close fight, to see what's ultimately going to separate them here. So we talked about gas tanks for Stotts. We talked about Sabatella's going to have to do damage if he does get top position. What about playing back into the theme of this fight and the trash talk? You know, if you from the position of having been in great rivalries, the Gil Melendez one, and being a Punk, you've never been afraid to trade words. Some guys get off on it. Sorry for the bad term there, but some guys use it as fuel. Some guys, it messes with them. How do you feel like you've gauged how they've walked this out?
So I've never been someone that talked a lot of trash to my opponent. I always respected everyone. The hardest fight that I ever had, to be honest, when it came to the actual inside the cage, was against KJ Noons, because he was talking to me. He wasn't even being mean about it. He was like, "Oh no, you almost got me. Oh no, yeah, nope, not gonna get that one." And he was being friendly about it. But I blew my gas tank in that fight. You go back and watch that fight. It was getting to me, the nerves. I don't know what it was, but it was a fight. I look back, I just couldn't perform. I was struggled so much in that fight. Dominant performance, but it was still, after the first round, I was gassed. It has an effect on you. Now, we had Danny and Stotts on this last week, and they both talked about, look, the talking's over. But when you get in there, Danny talked a lot about that pressure. He's not just fighting Stotts, he's fighting everybody. Because of all the things that he has said, he's putting that pressure on him. I don't think it bothers Stotts at all, because this is, the way Stotts did it was not like personal, like F you. Stotts did it in a way that was, I'm just gonna give you an ass whooping because that's what I'm here to do. Whereas Danny has to live up to that. He put a middle finger in his face. You suck. This guy's freaking trash. You're a D2 wrestler. You're not even on our level. I'm a Purdue wrestler. Like, he's putting that pressure on him. I want to see how that pans out inside the cage, because if he can't get a takedown or two in the first round and starts talking to him, it's a snowball effect. That has the potential of really skewing how this fight goes.
It's tough when you tell everybody your opponent sucks and then they beat you.
Right.
Well, not only that,
but multiple audiences in multiple cities that he's terrible.
Well, not only that, but he compared Big 12 wrestling. There's no way this Division II guy is going to ever take me down. No way. And then you can't get a takedown on a guy.
Right. Now what?
And also, you know, to compare it to something, obviously it's very, very different, but to go on a media tour together in the way that they have, city after city, event after event, podcast after podcast. They came in the studio with us for a little bit as well.
It got wild. Talking about dicks.
And it's like, you know, we saw what happened with Conor and Jose Aldo, where, you know, Conor won that one fair and square, but you're never going to convince me that was the best Jose Aldo had.
No.
You're never going to convince me. So it's like, what does that do to all the pressure even before the fight starts? Are they in the right space there?
I look at that. You can take Conor and Aldo, and then you can take Conor and Khabib. Here's your difference. Conor got into Aldo's head so much, got under his skin in a fashion that Aldo wanted to kill him. I always say the best part about fighting is you can say everything you want. In the end, I get to try to punch you right in the middle of the face, and you get to do the same to me. It's a beautiful thing, because anything, it's action in that cage that doesn't count. But with Aldo, he wanted to hurt McGregor so badly. He took a big shot coming in, leaned forward, hard, got out of position to that tag. Happens. Look at the difference with Khabib when he fought him. Stuck to what he does. And then when he got to the good positions that he gets to, went into his normal thing of, let's talk now. And started going after him and just turning it around on him. And it ended up.
But here's the thing,
having
though.
an
We are
effect.
talking about Khabib, who has like all-time great makeup in terms of his focus and poise and all that.
Yeah.
What do we know yet about Sabatella? Because when you carry a character, Colby Covington went through this. Like you're saying, you got to answer every time you're purposely with the pro wrestling angle trying to get people booing you. Do we feel like he's got that next level, which was one of the key ingredients of what made Khabib great, to just shut everybody out, focus on the task at hand, and rise?
But see, I think you're comparing Colby and Danny. I don't think they're the same, even though maybe the shtick can maybe be the same. But this is who Danny is. It's not a shtick to him. Like, his normal lifestyle is like, fuck you. You know, like,
I love his Twitter bio. Fuck you.
There you go. And that's who he is. Like, he only really talks that way about the guys he's fighting. He's not getting personal with their families. He's not getting personal with religion. He doesn't do any of that. He's very vocal about, like, hey, I come after you as a fighter. If you suck as a wrestler, I think your striking is garbage. If your cardio, I'm gonna break you. Those are all things. That's how he shaped this fight. That's how he shaped his trash talking. I respect that, because that's how he feels about that person when he's getting ready to fight him. Colby takes it to another level in a different direction. It puts a lot of pressure on himself because everyone knows it's a stick. You know, with Khabib, it's completely different. He was born and raised. Keep your composure. That's the way it needs to be. And that's how it runs throughout everybody. Islam, him, Ibaka, all of
Do
them.
those guys lose their temper?
Yes, I have. But
Gotta be scary.
but in all fairness, I saw Khabib lose his temper one time in the gym, was sparring with a real good kickboxer, and the kid was going hard. He was a 185-pound guy. He actually fights at 185. I don't want to mention anything. I've mentioned it before, and I got a little backlash. But they got into it, and Khabib was like, look, I got to fight in 2 weeks, and you're fucking trying. I was working with you, and now you're trying to take my head off. Got into a mix-up. Khabib just was able to get a takedown. We had to separate him. But this is sparring. This is training.
Right.
You know, we have a red room where everyone goes light. We have it's like the cage room where everyone goes hard. This was the red room, and it was supposed to be light. He had a fight coming up. You could tell he was tired, but he got a little heated. He was upset. Outside of that, though, no, he's very composed. Look, you ask Bilal Muhammad. If he wants to smash it, he'll smash it. He doesn't care. You know, he doesn't care. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what weight he'll smash it.
All right, in the interest of time, let's move along to some other fights because this card is big and stacked. So in your co-main event, Liz Carmouche is taking on Juliana Velasquez for the second time. For the audience's sake, Carmouche, who is the champion, a plus 145 underdog to Velasquez's minus 170. Big John, I'll start with you on this one. Didn't love the stoppage in the first fight.
Neither did I.
Didn't love it. Walk me through what was wrong with it from your perspective.
Let me just say this in the beginning.
Easy.
Here it is right there.
First off, Liz Carmouche.
Șeful în bucătărie
Did nothing wrong in this fight. She did exactly what she was supposed to do. She gets to a point in the fight, and she is, in my opinion, at this point, losing the fight, but gets to a point where she gets this crucifix position and she lands some good shots, but they're just shots. And you take a look at where the positioning right now of Velasquez is. Does she look like she's in trouble? Now take a look at where her hips are. And as soon as you see her hips up in the air, and the problem was, in the end, the referee said, oh, she went unconscious. No. You see where her hips are at? That right there is telling you she's not unconscious.
Yeah.
And what happens with sometimes the referee, they start to look at what I call the micro instead of the macro. They start to focus in on eyes, and they'll see someone get. Instead, you got to look at the entire body. The body will tell you what's going on. And so, with her hips in the air, and you take a look at her right arm starts to slip through here to get herself out.
Right.
Just as she's starting to try to get herself out, we have a stoppage. This was a mistake. It can happen, but it's not Liz's fault.
Right.
But it's also not fair that Juliana didn't get a chance to get herself out of a position that was not a good position, but every other fighter would have been able, in normal circumstances, been able to have that opportunity to get themselves out and continue on. She not only lost a title, she lost an undefeated record in a fight that you look at and you go, probably wasn't stopped.
And there was only a couple seconds left in that round. I think it was like 12 seconds, 13 seconds.
Although, as Big John will tell you,
it doesn't matter.
It's not supposed to.
It does. It's not supposed to matter, but it does in a title fight.
Speaking of whether it matters or not, when you're a referee in that position, when I watched that, my biggest complaint of that stoppage was, no disrespect to Liz, but it didn't look like there was a ton on those shots. That's part of the gauge.
Just to piggyback, it also does feel like if you get like a crucifix position, the refs get a little itchy.
They do.
Yeah.
And you know, it used to be Roy Nelson was the best because he would sit there and the best is he would start to count. But you know, with punches are different than elbows. She was doing elbows. But I don't care how many times you hit somebody. It's how much damage you do to them. You could hit them 100 times, and I'm going to look at you and say, you better count to 101. Or you could hit them 2 times, I'm going to be saying, stop, get up. It's about damage. It's not about how many times you touch them.
All right, so Josh, before that, though, before the stoppage and everything else, what do you make of where these, what did you learn from the first fight is what I guess what I would ask.
I learned that Juliana needs to work on her grappling from the bottom. She also needs to start utilizing her judo a little bit more. She's got great judo. She's a black belt in judo. She's on the national team for Brazilian judo. She just needs to focus on that a little bit more this fight. She doesn't read that. This is going to be a grind. Liz is going to be pushing on her, pushing her to the fence, trying to engage that grappling, dropping down on the double legs, trying to get back to that same position. They got the stoppage.
Where does offensive intention play in here? Because when Carmouche stopped Kana Watanabe to get to this point, to get to the title level, it was like, wow. I know that's maybe matchup dependent because she found that as an opening that she can exploit. But the aggression was like, I don't know if I've seen that from Liz Carmouche.
Not in a while.
I was hoping it would transition into the title opportunity, but obviously matchups can dictate. Do you
did,
think that was an aberration, or could Carmouche be that?
I'm being honest. You know, we sat in the fighter interview with Liz before the Conor Watanabe fight, and we said, where is it? Where's the aggression? Why is it that we're not seeing you go after people? You have the ability. What is it holding you back? And she told us, she goes, I see it, and it's going to change. And then she had that great.
Yeah, because the fight before that was, I believe, Deanna Bennett.
Yeah.
And she just had a really lackluster fight.
Yeah.
And it
And
was
the
like,
fight before that from UFC against Shevchenko was like one of the worst fights ever.
Look, and it's not like Shevchenko was piecing her up. Nope. It was Liz was not doing anything offensively too. And you look and go, you can't win if you're not offensive. And so we looked at it. We got that fight from Watanabe. I think she tried to go back into that same mode against Velasquez, and like Josh said, she sat to her ass. She was getting pieced up in the stand-up, but I think that she saw in this fight, look, I'm better on the ground. I don't care about the judo. I don't care about her Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I'm better in that area, and physically, I'm stronger. I'm going to take her down, put her back in that same position. The question is,